Okay, my dear Candace, I am going to use FreeMind and coaching you simply as an example of how to use FreeMind. So we have it open. You can do, for any new mind map, you can just start a new one, and it opens it up. So the main hub, we're going to call this Candace Mind Mapping. So, as I'm recording, watch how fast that I can drop my mind on brainstorming on even how I'm going to coach you on this. So the end goal is, how do we get Candace familiar with mind mapping? I gotta show her how to use it, right? Adding a kid, a child like that, adding a sibling, that's probably all you need to know. Moving items, maybe just one at a time. And what about multiple? So that we can really get it going. First of all, on adding a child, you definitely want to bear with me because I'm just totally doing this ad hoc. You want to study the keyboard shortcuts. I'm not sure how Apple is actually working with it, but this is the insert key. You can also use any of these up here. Insert a child or a brother. A child is something like this. Adding a kid using the insert key. Adding a sibling, for example, is, first we're going to do the kid. So it's going to be a sibling 1. And a sibling 2 is just like a brother or sister that's on it. I simply use the enter key, and it creates it very fast. Now I'm going to show you how to move one item. It's simply, you can either drag and drop, or you can do a cut and paste. So let's say I want to create some items over here, create some more branches. Items to move, this, that. As you can see, we have a tool here that will keep up with the pace of your thoughts. A piece of paper and big sheets of paper is great, when we have a notebook and we can drop it all. But where the benefits of this mind mapping come into play is, number one, it keeps up with the speed of the thoughts. A lot like using a notebook. But the primary example is organization when done. Because things can be moved and organized into categories and subcategories very fast. I also want to talk about the actual full project management flow. I'll get to that in a minute. So, if we're going to move some items, I can just drag it. I can grab this thing and move it to here, and it's going to become a child of it. Now, one thing that I realized before, when you were moving it, it looked confusing on where it was actually going to drop into. So if I take this item and move it, I want it as a child of drag and drop. You see how it's shaded on the right? And it'll go here. Now let's say I grab it. If I want it below drag and drop, see how it's to the shading areas to the right? Now watch the shading change as it is now. See, now it'll be above cut and paste. See that shading change? That's going to make it a kid. That's going to make it go above cut and paste like this. You can move these items, wherever you want to. Maybe I want it down here. Maybe, maybe I want it to make an item of this one. So you can do it by drag and drop or cut and paste. So I'm going to take this guy and move it back over here. I'm going to move it one more time again using cut and paste. I'm simply just going to do Control X, the cuts. Yeah, and I'm just going to hit paste. Boom. And it's going to move it. So, once again, I'm going to grab this guy and move it back over here. Now, what if we want to move more than one item at a time? We're doing multiple items, right? So we can use control, I'm not sure how app works, to selecting multiple items, one item at a time. So let's say I want to grab this guy. I'm going to hold down control. I'm moving this. And then I'm going to move, let me create another one here. That to this 4. So let's say I only want to move 2 of them. So I'm going to get control. I'm clicking that, and I'm holding down control, and I'm clicking this. Now I can let go of it and just move these 2. So let's say I want to grab these 2 and drop it over here. Boom. Cannot move a node to one of these children. Bear with me. Control. I'm going to grab. Boom. Boom. It should just. Oh yeah, so I don't know what that first error message was. So do you see how that moved? And of course the beautiful undo key in anything. Isn't that a fucking lifesaver? So you can grab one item at a time and move it all over to one place. So when you're done brain scattering, let's say I want this guy and even this guy, it will grab the children of where it's at, and I want to grab this guy. And so now I'm just going to either drag and drop it, or just do cut and paste. I prefer drag and drop. I'm going to drop it over there. Boom. All that stuff moves. So when you move an item, its children are also going to move with it. So I'm just going to undo that, and we're back to here. Now, another way of adding multiple is, see how you can expand and contract it? Let's say maps start to get really big. I can just double click on it. Hey, this is all I want to show. So if you want to hone in on a certain area when things start getting really big, hey, just, expand, collapse it. Because you can grab this map and start to move it all around simply by clicking, holding down, and boom, I'm going to move you around. Another way to move multiple is all of them in a sequence. And that is using shift. I'm not sure how Apple works once again. So let's say I want to move all of just these 4. So I can hit that one and hit shift. Oops. And hold shift and hit shift, and it selects them all. And then I can do the same thing. I can either drag and drop, get them all over here, drop them as the children of this one, drop it in here. Do you see how it would drop in as a brother of these guys? Or the same factor is I could drop it here and make it a child of multiple. So doing this and this is the same thing. Just watch, just boom, it's over there. Or shift, select them all. I'm going to grab them and slide them in there. This makes it a children of this particular item. This makes it a brother up and down of it. And so the movement is very, very fast once you have it out. Because you're such a high-level thinker and you have so many things going on, using this on these 2 speeds is, first of all, getting it all out. But when you're going big and you're thinking of a big new project, let alone goals and visions for a new year, I mean, you got to have a tool you're just going to be able to dump it all out and reorganize it very fast. So on this note, you see how this is kind of working with my mind in the tangent? Let's talk about the full project flow. You're always going to be brainstorming at first, right? And the best tool for that is always like, your notebook or, free mind mapping. Once you're done doing that, you can organize the mind map. This is where the big benefit comes into play. Because all this really is, in the end, that next stage, you go from brainstorming into, all it really is an outline. It just becomes an outline. So you can grab any of these and probably have the view see if I can stay focused here on this. Read quarterly shipments. Study the help file. So full project management flow. So it becomes an outline. Drop it there. Now, once you're done brainstorming everything, you got to get it into the system. You know, your system parts. You have your project and task management, right? Your Todoist, and you have your calendar, and you're pretty much rocking on those two main system parts. So when you brainstorm like crazy, and all of a sudden it's all out, then you get into the system parts, then you can actually get into, you know, do mode. Things become clearly defined and assigned, and you're just off and running. So, hold on, I kind of put that in there wrong. See how we can move stuff around. Here's the full project management flow. You know, you're brainstorming. Now you want to be able to grab projects, like all these projects that you're going to have going on, to get these into your system parts. You know, you're going to drop one into Todoist. You're going to drop all these new projects and sub-projects into Todoist and get some very clearly defined next actions, maybe set some next meetings on your calendar. I mean, these are the levels of flow. The brainstorming, the organizing it, which is very fast. Once you're done brainstorming it, 80% of it is already where it needs to be. Getting into the system parts, then you're doing, and just continually recalibrating, looking from the top down. Even to look at a whole quarter or a year of 2015, it's amazing what could be done. So what I'm going to pull onto the screen now, it's just another mind map software which I use. Free mind does the job, trust me. Maybe you want to start organizing into seriously, like what is priority and what really matters first. You don't over-identify, don't over things, don't use this for project management. Just look at it for a top-down view. So now, when I came back in the plane from Brazil, I had to look a lot of new things that really mattered to me just in the moment. Plus, you know, other things that are just on the horizon. So I'm going to pull in my mind map that I pretty much peek at now once every 1 to 3 days just to make sure I'm on top of it. So here's all my stuff. Let me shrink this down. Let's look at like new areas of stuff. Things that really mattered to me. Money was a primary one for sure that started happening. I had so many tickets for Tower of Power, I just had to get rid of them. Having a new roommate here, key. You know, what are some things I can do to actually move these forward? Just brainstorming. Setting up Airbnb stuff. Hey, the GTD biz, the growth. So these are kind of side items. I just moved into the bottom. I'm really looking at the top things that matter. So hey, you know, what can I do to improve this now in the next few weeks? I have another key area, you know, the music business. What's really going on? We got the music industry trade show. What have I got to do to even move this forward now? You see, I'm kind of using this as a to-do management, but it's actually all inside of my Todoist. I just had to see what can I do to move this forward now. So hey, NAMM really matters to us. It's the music industry trade show. It's in like 10 days. It's mission critical. Even being on top and being first to market with everything. Our POS system, very mission critical. Getting the website into the new platform, extremely mission critical. Lots of thoughts on efficiency and productivity. I mean, our list is monstrous, but I just really wanted to focus on what matters now. Once again, me coaching the team. We have 3 new hires, getting GTD culture and efficiency and productivity into the culture. That's going to be critical. A lot of this other stuff, hey, just a lot of ideas that we have that we've probably already had for a long time. 95% of everything is someday maybe. This list is minuscule, as you can imagine, of actually what everything that we're looking to do. So what else can we hover in on? what really mattered. Hey, just coming back from vacation to be on back in my routine for a while. You know, health, exercise, and things like that. Thinking about hockey, personal, things like that. This is just a small glimpse of the a lot of the other things which I'm pulling out. So let's see if I want to hone in on an area. If I'm just looking at the business really quick in the morning, you can do it in free mind. And hey, I'm just looking at RUPS and RUPS only. You can double click on anything, you know, and have it expand out. So once again, the full flow, you know, brainstorming, using a notebook or free mind, organizing it, you know, into priority, just picking those top few things, getting into the system parts, going from here to there, and now you're just running and running and running and running, and you know, you start to go into do mode. So our key goal of this video here is how do I show Candace mind mapping, which is going to greatly accelerate her speed of her thoughts, but more importantly, the organization when you're done. As you can imagine, you can have a top-down view of almost anything and everything. You can create new mind maps very fast. Even thinking about life in general, you know, key context, high-level goals, and then breaking it down. You know, you got money, you got your career, you know, you got your health. Maybe your health breaks down to mental, physical, you know, spiritual. You got your, you know, relationships. Those break down into a lot of things, you know, like ourself, friends, family, dating, you know, purpose in life. We talked on the way back from Vegas on you have a lot of different contexts and grids. Imagine being able to look on this on just the spot down. So what this gives you is, get back to focusing, Brad. Where is the other one? Grr. Fuck. Let's see if I even know how to get back to that other mind map. Pause. Re-recording. I could get to the other map right here. Is what I realized. So, key points. Adding a sibling. I'm going to delete that one. Use the insert key. Remember, study this, study that. So what I'm going to do is, even in mind mapping, how am I going to pull this into your system part? I'm just going to identify some things, move it into your to-doist, and say, hey, I want you studying this, I want you studying that, etc., etc. So let's use an example here really quick. I'm going to go into my to-doist. Where is Candyland? Candyland, Candyland, Candyland. Where are you? GTD Biz, Candace System. So we want our dear Candace using mind maps fluently. Key goal. Candace thing. So what are we going to have to get her to this? Some key action parts. You're going to read keyboard shortcuts. How about watching the video? I'll upload it to YouTube now. Read the help file. When you're done, you're going to call me on any questions. On that. So I'm going to assign this stuff to you, get this into your computer stuff, and get you rolling on it. This is definitely a priority. So I hope this helps, my dear, in understanding this, you getting familiar with free mind. Now the next stage, which we just greatly accelerated, was collaborative mind mapping. Imagine using a place like Google Docs that has mind mapping built in to where everyone is in real time, and you could start to have one place where you're naming the new project and you could brainstorm together. What we've realized is having a place to where we could brainstorm and mind map even before we meet is so critical, because so many people have a lot of ideas even beforehand. So we don't even have to wait for a meeting to start brainstorming and or even getting the ideas together. We can simply review it 10 minutes before the meeting on anyone and everyone's thoughts. So I'll upload this video. I'm going to do another one on the weekly review that's going to take like 3 to 5 minutes tops. So love you. Hope this helps. Call me. We can screen share, and you can share your screen with me, and I can dial in anything at any given time of what's really going to help you. So love you. Hope this helps. And actually, let me... Yeah, there we go. There's a little personalization.